everyone, Michelle here. I'm going to go through a 90-90 hip mobility exercise with you. It's meant to increase or help increase hip external and hip internal rotation. Sometimes getting into the position it can be tricky, so that's why I have some bolsters and a block to help modify the exercise. And we'll also start with a little bit of a dynamic warm-up, and then in that you can also take note of your range of motion, your differences from left to right. So what we'll do first is we'll try and get into this gentle bear sit. Feet wider than knees and hips. You can use your hands behind you to prop yourself up, sitting nice and tall on your sit bones and making sure that your diaphragm is stacked over your pelvis. If this is a difficult position to get into, you can use a block or some sort of lift, even a book sometimes helps, and then you can get into a higher position. Maybe you still need your hands here, or maybe you can go hands-free. Okay, so from this position, we're gonna lift our toes up, and we're just gonna gently windshield wiper our knees back and forth. Okay, making note as to the extent of internal rotation, so when our knee is on this side of our foot, and external rotation on each side. Are you missing one side more than the other? Is there a piece of it that's uncomfortable? Just making note of the differences. So for me, for example, I'm missing internal rotation on my right. Okay, so once we've gone back and forth 5 times, just gently, not pushing into anything, then we can get into our 90-90 position. So what this looks like is 90 degrees at the knee and at the hip on each side. So again, utilizing some equipment to get into proper positions or make it comfortable for you to start. So what you can do is you can place a firm pillow or a block underneath your knees on either side, thereby reducing the amount of external rotation and internal rotation on each side. So do what's comfortable for you. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll do some passive 90-90 movements. So as we come through, we're going to use our arms for support. As we come forward and down, we're getting into greater hip external rotation on the front. Then we're going to walk our hands over to the side and reach to the side, again utilizing your hands for support to start. This increases hip internal rotation on the back leg. We'll go forward one more time, lean forward, see if you can get a little bit more range, and over to the back leg, swinging out. Okay, now what we're going to do is with support, but applying pressure down with our legs. So as we swing forward to the front leg, I want you to actively push that leg down into the ground or onto your support as you go. You may find that you have more access, more range. Okay, come on up. Now I want you to actively push this knee into the floor and then come back up. Okay, one more time with support. So by creating that activation, you are training those muscles to work in these ranges of motion, the definition of mobility. Now what I want us to try is without support. So we're utilizing our torso as some resistance. Maintain that pressure in that front leg, pushing out to further external rotation, using that lateral thigh musculature. See if you can go down a little further. Now coming back, swing those arms out, but don't touch them down to the back leg into internal rotation. Again, pushing down with that knee. Okay, forward again. We'll do this 3 times, and then switch. And then out and around. You can touch your foot if you want to. Pushing down, coming back. Last time. Staying active and maintaining that nice diaphragm over pelvis position throughout. Okay, once we're done, we're going to come back. You can put the hands for support, come back into this bear sit position, all right? And then we'll tip on over to the other side into that 90-90 position. Again, now starting with passive gentle movements, utilizing your hands for support. Not quite activating everything yet. Okay, into the front for hip external rotation on this side. Now again, note what you feel, any differences left and right. Last time for passive. Okay, now again, maintaining a nice stacked barrel of top and bottom within your core. I want you to now activate and actively push that front knee down as you come down with support. And then as we come to the back leg into more internal rotation, so our torso is rotating, acetabulum is rotating over the femoral head into relative internal rotation. Push that knee down, and with support still, walk over. Okay, back to the front, pushing that knee down, being active in your lower body. Good. One more time with support, but with activation. Don't forget to breathe. Good. So now we're going to try without support. So adding the resistance of our torso, having to control that range of motion. So again, that definition of mobility, accessing range of motion. So external rotation of the front hip, pushing that knee down and resisting the collapse of the torso. Then coming back up, swinging those arms out, pushing that knee down, and then come back up. Good, that's one. We'll do two more. Good, swing out, control, come back up. So nice and slow and intentional, every movement. And complete. Okay, so now a good way to end this whole routine is to come back to your bear sit, whichever way you started, or maybe you have access to going down to the full bear sit, and I want you to do those windshield wipers again. Just a couple each direction. Take note, is there a little bit of improvement in a place that might have been sticky before? Are you able to access greater range? Does it feel more comfortable? Hopefully we have yes to some or all those answers. Okay, give it a try and let us know what you think.